I like that. Okay. All right. So obviously the first step in creating a transaction is to click the create transaction button. Now I will say here, I'm just going to do create new because I'm doing a dummy, but you can search the MLS. So if you have something listed already in the MLS, you can do an MLS search and it's probably going to pull a ton of information on the property at least. So, and I would assume if you're with a buyer, you can do that as well. But if we're just going to create, okay, then we're going to click the button there. We're going to create. We're going to put in an address, and I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4.
If you
Main
use the
Street.
MLS thing, though, it'll add the information.
Yeah, it'll add the address and those things in it. So basically, that's going to help you. It's going to help with time. But since I'm not making a real one. So we're just going to, here, I'm just going to autofill whatever the heck that is. And then I personally, you can do whatever you like. I like to use the name of the person. So I
How
would
does
be like,
Angie go to I have mine saved in my.
you can just go to brokermint.com and log in. Your login should be your email, yeah. So and then I always like to put like buyer or seller. Okay. So we're just gonna do a seller this time. Okay. You can put in the price, 300,000, let's say. The agreement date, this is just when I signed my buyer agreement. Now, this one with a seller, you're not going to have. So we'll take that out, right? But if you have that, the other thing is when you go up top here, you can select different things. So is this a rent, a lease? Is it a traditional sell? Most of them are going to be traditional sell. And then status is usually you're going to put this in. I would prefer you to put this in before you actually have a pending contract, whether it's with a buyer or a seller. Seller is obviously going to be active because when you put it on the market, right, you don't have a contract. And I would prefer that you put them in at that time so that I can look at and you can submit for review the seller rep, IABS, all of those things. So if there's anything wrong with the rep itself, we can fix those before we actually get under contract. Also makes it so that I don't have 15 documents to review at once. So makes it a little bit quicker. So most of them you're going to go to active. Okay. Now there are those times when you're working with a buyer, right? And it's like I signed the buyer rep yesterday and today we found the house. So they might go in at the same time and you put pending. But representing, so on this one we're going to be representing seller, but you can see that you can do buyer, both, anything. Okay. So this is what gets a little bit confusing for people. So acceptance date, listing date. So let's say we just, we listed this on March 1st. The expiration is going to be 6 months from now. So it's going to be August 1st. Okay. Closing date, we don't know yet. And the acceptance date. Now, usually this is kind of the execution date is what we would call it, right? Is what day did we accept the contract? Well, I don't really have that at this point. Now, I can put in these additional things. Now, if you go MLS search, it should put a lot of this stuff in. But the more of this that you fill out, the better. Now, if you're just putting this in and you don't have MLS, I will tell you that you don't need to put in a lot of this stuff. The lot square foot does not matter. The building square foot, the zoning, the beds, baths, this doesn't matter to the contract. So why bother with it? Whether there's a lockbox yard sign, like I just don't know why a lot of this is in there. But what it is going to require at some point is the earnest money, right? So date received, date deposited, probably going to be the same date, right? Amount received is the amount of earnest money. So it's not saying earnest money, but that is what it's talking about. So if I push next here, it might tell me like, hey, you didn't fill out this or that. And then you just got to go back and, okay, what's in red, fill that in. Okay. Usually at the beginning though. So we're just going to do a percent of price here. And this is the total commission. So if I'm the listing agent, I'm going to say, you know, by no coincidence at all or any fixing at all, just for, you know, the Trek people watching this video, 6% is just an arbitrary number. I can't believe I even got to. So the listing side, you know, we're going to say 3%. And the buying side, we're going to say 3% as well. The only reason it wants to capture both sides is that we're going to be putting in another agent, and it wants to know what to give to us, what the other side, it doesn't matter, right? So if we hit next here, now we're going to contacts. If you have one already in, you can see that it's going to start pulling up people. Now these people are in bold trail. These are contacts in bold trail, so it will pull from there. Okay. So I'm just gonna put in, I'll just put in myself. Okay. So I'm a user. I'm one of the people, and you can add more and more and more, because when you get, okay, so let's go to our checklist. This is one of the first things you want to do when you get into your transaction, is you want to select a checklist, and this one we're going to be listing. Now, one of the things that is going to happen is you see already things in red, okay? Because these things are not just necessarily to upload, but they are required right off the bat, right? You need to submit this to the MLS, and it's not saying upload a picture. It's just saying, hey, make sure you do this. Make sure you get a yard sign out there. These are things that Trek requires. When you have a listing agreement, you have to have it listed on the MLS and a yard sign within 24 hours unless specified otherwise, right? So it's on the actual listing agreement that it'll say, like, you know, the seller wants to delay actual listing until X date or for X amount of days, right? So that would be your only get around. But if it's not filled out, Trek requires it within a day or two. And some neighborhoods won't let you. Yeah. But anyways, and then you would just, if let's say you couldn't put in a yard sign, you would just click it. Okay, that's done anyway, right? And okay, I put it in the, let's click it. So this is done. Now when I upload these, okay, and I'm not gonna actually do that, but when I upload these, okay, I have to have them on the desktop, or I have to have my my DocuSign linked, and I can get it straight from there. Once we upload, we're going to submit it for review, and it's going to be a box right here. You can't see it right now, but let's just say if I go in and I'm just going to search IABS. We'll do this. We'll do just one of these real quick. Okay, cool. So, this one, why not? What's it matter? Okay, so now you can see there's a button for submit. This is how you submit this for review. Okay, so you get these documents that are required right now and you submit each one for review, and then I will go through and look at it and make sure there isn't any mistakes that need to be fixed. Okay, so you just hit submit, and you can type in a comment there, and it's submitted. Now, if there is something that you don't need, not the listing agreement, but we'll just take this since it's here. Let's do the survey. Okay, let's say you don't need to obtain a survey. Lender's not requiring it, something. Okay, you would put this in the notes. Whoops. Lender not required. Okay, and then you would click this little exempt button. So now you have requested from me an exemption for that form, okay? But I need a note. I need to know why. You can't just say, like, oh, I just didn't get it, so, you know, like, can I just not? No.
I don't want it.
No, there needs to be a reason,
I didn't
right?
know we could do that, so I submitted the NA Or when you gave us the NA.
That was for total brokerage because they didn't
so
have
I
this.
submitted my NA form.
Yeah. So she put it. Yeah.
Not
She put in a
over.
form that said this is not needed. Like, okay, cool, thanks. So this has a whole thing for that. Okay.
Cool. So
So-
I can just throw away that NA thing.
Yeah, you don't need that anymore. You can just select that button. Okay. But realistically, this checklist will take you through this whole process of what do I need, when do I need it, and so the T47.1. Remember, that's the one that's not required for notary for the survey. We just have to have it. You don't even have to upload it because really it's just going to title. You just need to make sure that you have it with the survey. Okay. If it's existing, if it's not and it's new, then you're going to upload a new and just click this. Okay, done, because it's actually not needed. Okay. The non-notarized, the 47.1 is the new one. Okay. So, and then it just takes you through all the dates and everything. And we kind of just set them up to where once the executed contract is in, then it's like, okay, in 10 days, you have to have this. In like 21 days, you have to have the financing together and whatnot and what have you. Amendment 1 and 2 are just basically if you have amendments, you can put them in. If not, you don't have to worry about it. This is just kind of set as a reminder, like as you're going through the list, like amendment. Oh yeah, we did actually amend the closing date, right? I should upload that. So that's your checklist. Okay. So now in documents, this is going to be exactly what has to be uploaded. And you see, we already have some, we already exempted one, right? We already have all of this. So basically, in order to upload these, if you just click the button, you're just going to go to a file, right? And that you already have that downloaded. Now, if I go in here, I want to say, if I go to unsorted, okay, I can pull from DocuSign. Okay. So once I pull from DocuSign, I have to sign in and do everything. So I'm not going to go through that process. Once I do that, though, it'll take me to my different files in DocuSign. In DocuSign, I will select those files that I want to upload, and it will put them directly into here in unsorted. Okay. Once I do that, then each one of them, I will get a bar, just like this right here. There's a bar here. There's a bar with a drop down like this that says that you can assign it to a form. So then you just go in and assign it to that form. Okay. And then it'll show up on this page on documents to upload, right? Or to confirm or to submit, right? Once it's there. And so that's how you get the documents into there. Okay. It's also important once you have an offer, okay, that you put in an offer received. So this is kind of one of the weird things. So if you click that little link up there, which is, I don't know why it's on a link, to be honest, but let's say on this $300,000 property, they offered us, 290 and 2,900 earnest money. This is going to be FHA, okay? Lender is Steve-O. Contingencies obviously is a pre-approval, right? So if we click that and we just put lender approval, it should then at a later date, it's going to probably let us know like, hey, has this been cleared? Right? We got pre-approval. Okay, so buyer agent information, we'll just say Jane Doe, ABC brokerage. Email is 12345@gmail.com. Phone is 123-456. Do I need another one? 0. Okay, so buyer information is is I don't want to say it's 100% required, but when looking back on these things, why not have the info, you know?
Right.
So the buyer is Gary. I'm just making up names, man. Okay, so it's over here. Oh, now it's Deary. No, I spelled it wrong. Don't mess up Deary's name. All right. There's no company, obviously, unless it is an LLC, you know? And then you can upload docs for the actual offer. If you want to upload the contract, you can upload that there. I haven't personally done this yet, but I believe if you upload the files separately, the executed contract and those things, or just that contract, I don't believe that it's going to transfer over to the documents that you need, because at this point it's an offer. It's not executed, so it's not going to automatically pull. But what it's going to do is it's going to hold these files for you so you can quick reference. This is really going to come into play if you have multiple offers. Okay, if we are in a busy market and you get 3 offers in 48 hours of listing a property, now you're going to have all 3 of these, and you're going to be able to compare them and then pull those files back up on the fly. Okay, so we're just going to hit the submit offer. Maybe, oh, I have to select at least one file. Fine. This is seller's temporary lease, whatever. Okay, so we can hit submit. Now, okay, we have this offer in. You can view offer details. Now, when you have several of these, if you go in and look at details, you can take notes on it. So the key points, like, hey, they're asking for, asking find 10K in closing. This way, when I'm looking at this and I see the offer price, I now know also, it's actually 280, right? So, and when you have several, you can compare. Okay. So let's go back. Oh. Okay. So we're back to our docs. That's how you put in an offer. User and contact. Okay. This is going to be important for the end game, which is closing, right? So we need to add users. We can find different people. Who starts with the T? Tammy's going to be an agent. Okay, so she's an agent, right? Now, let me just edit that real quick, because I think we're going to want to be a little bit more specific. So this is listing agent. Okay, we're going to want to go in and add a contact for the buyer's agent. So Destiny is going to be our buying agent. Okay, you're going to want to add. You're going to want to add mag, or I think it's just going to be under me. You're going to want to use me as the broker. Okay. And you need the title company. Who's the title agent we have in our files? Christina Davenport. There you go. Okay. So she's our escrow officer. All right. Now, if we're ever looking back at this file, we can really see who all is involved, right? It's important also to know that it's going to put you in there as the transaction owner. You should always add yourself as either the buyer or listing agent as well. Because sometimes when we get down to the DA, it just doesn't want to act proper. Okay? So put yourself in there twice, just like I am now. I'm the transaction coordinator or owner because I started it, but I also am in there as the broker. Okay. Now, you can get into this finance shared activity. The finance is going to show you commissions, earnest money right here. So this is, let's just say this is set up right here for states that hold earnest money at the broker level. We don't do that. Okay. So this is not necessary to use at all. All right. The commissions, if you want to go in and see it, you can see that, right? What we don't have on here is an agent, so we can add the agent, and let's say Tammy was the listing agent, and that's the side that we're going to be on. So we're going to take her, and she's on standard plan. I don't know if you guys can even change this. It's just because it's my account, right? So we're going to hit,
know that I
right, we're going to hit save. And now you can see that Tammy's has been pulled out automatically, and the two fees that we have are here, and there's no split because Tammy is capped, right? So if it was another agent and you weren't capped, then there would be 20% of the commission up here, okay? So, and you don't, again, you don't have to put the buying side if that's not you, because realistically, we're calculating it's going to the other side. I don't really care how they dish it out, right? I do care about the other agent being in the users and contacts because we just want to know quickly who's a party to the contract, right? Okay. After this is done, you can see that, and this is something that I'm going to do, is I'm going to look at this and I'm going to finalize the commissions. Okay. So once that's done, anytime now, it's thinking about it real hard.
sent me.
I'll delete it soon.
Like, show me the money.
I know, yeah. I think that commission.
What is going on? Okay, let's just refresh this. All right. Let's hope that it did what it was supposed to do. Yes, it did. Okay, so now I'm going to generate the CDA. Okay, you see how, because all of this information was put in, that it's already populated. Okay, if you guys don't do that, and I have to put in the title person's information, and I got to put in their information here and the other agent and all of these things, I'm just going to kick it back. I hate to be rude, but it's not my job. Okay. You can imagine as we get busier than I have to do a bunch of these, I'm not going to go in and look at your contract and fill in the people and information for you. Okay. So that's why I tell you the whole steps all the way. Once I generate this, okay, and I'm not going to because I don't want that to actually happen in our system. But once I generate it, I e-sign it, and then it's going to end up being in your documents under unsorted, most likely. I can apply it to a a file if we need be, but you would see it here in unsorted, or it may be in documents under just like its own new thing under CDA, but you would look for it under documents, one of these two subsections, okay? Then you would take that and give that to title. Once it's all said and done, and again, I'm not going to do this part, but once it's all said and done, you need to come up here to edit. And you need to, like, through the process, you can switch it to pending, right? Once you have it actually under contract. But then we're going to go down here to close and close the transaction once it's finished. There's going to be a series of questions, right? So you need to know your dates. You may want to have like a PDF copy of the contract pulled up or something to that nature, so that you can gather any information that you haven't already put in. But hopefully, if you went through this whole process properly, you're going to find that most of the information is going to be in there. And again, I'm sorry I can't do that, but it's going to log all these numbers and screw up tax things and whatnot. So we don't want to do that. But a series of questions, and then hit close, and boom, it's done. Okay. Now, question and answers.
Back to the red ones. Have your
You mean under documents?
right under documents. When
Okay.
You're first getting the listing. Does
Yeah.
it, if you click on each one,
Yeah,
or I just need to know that.
I'm not
So-
sure if it's going to say, I don't think it says on here exactly how many days, but let me tell you how we set it up, okay? So once, as soon as you do it, you can see this date right here, okay?
Right.
Until you upload an executed contract, it'll do nothing else. Once you upload the executed contract, within like 3 days, you need to have the seller's disclosure, you need to have the survey, um, and the T47-1. You need to have the HOA addendum, and then within, I think it's like, I want to say it's like 10 days, you need to have like wire fraud. Um, and then within 21 days, there's a couple other things that you need. So it's set up so like a transaction actually goes. Now, those dates are going to be kind of weird. And if I go back to, and I mean weird because not every transaction happens at the same time, but if I go back to my, this is all of the transactions we have right now. When you see them in red, all that means is that something's due that isn't in there yet. Okay? So, but just because it's due doesn't mean you have it yet, right? You may not have lender approval or anything like that. You may not have certain things yet. And so, it just says, hey, one outdated document, like you need this or you need that. So it's going to turn red and show you, hey, there's something you need to do here. But there's some times where I just don't have it yet. It's just because the dates are on a certain timeline. But it does prompt you to say, oh yeah, I do need to get that, So what else?
I just need DocuSign.
Yeah, and I fully understand that,
I mean,
that the questions will come as you do this.
Yeah.
You know what I
Have a
mean?
hands-on.
But hopefully this video, it's short of 30 minutes. That's not bad. So hopefully this video is going to help with that. You know what I mean? So now you can go back on our YouTube and you can look it up and you can see, okay, and watch it as you do it. And if you have any questions, you just let me know.